I believe that TMRS touches the lives of over 260,000 people. If you are looking for a job that brings you satisfaction, if you're looking for a job that you find value in, you're making a difference not only in a person's life, but in the economy here at Texas, there's no other place for you to do that. That's going to be right here at TMRS. If you are looking for a place to work where you are valued as an individual, where you feel like you're part of a family with similar goals, that is TMRS. I would encourage you to hit that apply button if you want to be part of this team.
Hello and welcome to The Clear Voice, brought to you by Clear Career Professionals. I'm your host, James Groom. We're back to explore an amazing opportunity for somebody to become the next Human Resources Director of the Texas Municipal Retirement System, or simply TMRS. With me today to discuss this position is the recruiter and president of Clear Career Professionals, Michael Boese. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks, James. And as you mentioned, this is such an important recruitment for so many public servants here in Texas. TMRS has been a faithful partner to so many people who have served. We are extremely honored to have this particular recruitment be working with this organization to help find their next human resource director. If I had to go back and work at an organization full time, I would love to be a part of what they've got going on in the culture. So I know we're going to have a great conversation here.
Would you say there's a little bit of pressure with this one since most of our staff is receiving a retirement check from TMRS, so we want to make sure that we help them find the right person that's going to keep everything running smoothly down there?
Absolutely. As I'm recruiting for the position, everybody I talk to, I tell them I have a vested interest in making sure the organization hires good people and continues that vibrant culture. We want to make sure that they select someone who can really invigorate just all they have going on. The human resource director piece is such an important component of any organization because they make sure that labor relations are working for the current employees, but also they're the folks who are recruiting and bringing in those vital components to the organization that will continue to let it be the innovative and exceptional company and group that they are.
Well, and to give us some clear insight into this role, we have the TMRS Executive Director, Debbie Munoz, with us. Debbie, thank you for being here and welcome to The Clear Voice.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Michael and James, for this opportunity. We are so excited about bringing on top talent. I, for one, am very, very passionate about our mission, and that is to provide secure lifetime income to our members for all 946 participating cities across this great state of Texas. And in order to do that mission and do it well, we've got to have top-notch people in this organization. I believe we have an excellent culture. We're continuously improving. And of course, at the top of our people part of the organization is our HR director. This is absolutely an integral part of our success, not only our success as an organization for our members, but our success internally for our internal customers, for what we do here, taking care of our people. It has to be important so that we can accomplish our mission. And I'm excited about where we're going. And this is the first time we're using a podcast to do this. So very excited. Thank you all so much.
Well, we're excited to have you on. Before we get into the role, we need to understand what the organization is all about. I know you mentioned that it's to provide lifetime annual income to the retirees and take care of the members. For the people that may not be familiar with TMRS, tell us a little bit about the organization, where you guys are, how many members you take care of, how many employees there are, all those kind of things. Everything that an HR director would want to know before they get in there.
Absolutely. We are just shy of a $50 billion assets under management public pension plan. We are administered by the state of Texas. We're governed by Texas law, but we are not an actual state agency, which is a good thing because we are self-sufficient. We administer retirement benefits for 946 participating cities. They have to be in the state of Texas. They have to be an incorporated city to be in the plan. Once a city decides to join TMRS, every full-time employee must participate at that point in time. We take member contributions directly out of an employee's paycheck. We then invest those funds along with the city's contributions because each city has to contribute as well. We take those funds, we invest those funds, and at some point down the road, once the employee has met certain requirements for retirement, we turn those funds into a lifetime secure benefit that is paid out for the lifetime of the member. And in some cases, in a lot of cases, that payment continues on for the lifetime of the beneficiary as well, if the member is so willing to make that decision. What's unique about TMRS is we provide a menu of options for our cities. And we have, as I mentioned, 946 cities, and they're all different as the East is from the west of Texas, from the north to the south. Every city has its own unique characteristics. We have cities that have one employee. We have cities, our largest city is San Antonio, with over 6,000 employees. And so we have to be able to provide as a pension plan a benefit plan that will attract and retain talent for those cities. We want to turn those funds into a benefit for our members. We're fiduciaries to our members, and we work in partnership with our cities so that our members can receive that benefit. Back to the menu of option, if you're a city of 10 employees and you've got limited funds, to be quite frank, all cities have limited funds. There's no infinite amount of money on a tree. But a city of 10 employees may not have the luxury of providing the same benefit plan that, say, a city of 6,000 has. The beauty of TMRS is a city has the ability to make those choices that matches what they can afford. I'm excited and proud of what we do. I think we fuel the Texas economy with the benefit. Yes, the cities pay their employees from taxpayer dollars. We invest those dollars and then we turn that around into lifetime income. And for the most part, most of our retirees stay and live right where they work. And so they get that benefit from TMRS once they're retired, and they're turning around and spending that money right there where they work. That taxpayer money is recycled. So I like to say we're really fueling the Texas economy with those dollars. What makes us special is we are very member driven. We know that many of our members don't have the resources to go out and secure those benefits on their own. Or if they do have those resources, they don't necessarily make it a priority until they're close to retirement. And so the fact that we force an employee to contribute once a city decides to make that commitment, but because we force those contributions right from the beginning, you've got to work 20 years, 25 years, or you've got to be age 60 and work at least 5 years to allow us enough time to invest those funds to secure a lifetime benefit. I've been with TMRS for 28 years, and I will often hear from a brand new employee at a city, especially our employees who are very young. They may complain about the fact that they're contributing 5, 6, or 7% of their gross compensation. Now 8%. We have a new plan provision of 8%. They may not like that they're being forced to do that. What I never, ever have ever heard a complaint about is on the receiving end. I've never heard a retiree go, "Dadgummit, I should have never contributed to TMRS. I'd be better off." Quite the contrary. Our retirees say time and time again, I am so thankful that I contributed and that the city provided this benefit for me, because now, like clockwork, we are paying that monthly benefit on the first of every month or the last day of every month. That's it in a nutshell. We're a public pension plan. We're fiduciaries for our members. We serve about 265,000 members, about 80,000 retirees. Those are in pay mode. I think we have a fabulous staff, and I think we have a great culture here. I think our next HR director will be as dynamic as we are, and I'm excited about this opportunity to recruit top talent.
Well, if anybody wants to complain about having to be forced to put money into the system, please have them email Michael or I, because we will tell them what a great benefit it is 20 years down the road and being able to go on and do something else if you want to. I mean, you can choose to stay in and work if you want to and work longer and get a bigger benefit. Being able to check out at that 20-year mark or 25-year mark and do something else is an amazing flexibility. I know I wouldn't have been able to do that if it had been up to myself. So we appreciate what you guys do.
I could probably take an hour and talk about TMRS, but another thing that makes us a little unique is that those benefits are portable. What I mean by that is because we have 946 participating cities, You literally can go from one city, start working at a different city, and you don't lose your time. It just keeps growing. So, for example, you could work in the city of Plano for 10 years, and Plano has a 20-year retirement requirement to retire. If you work for the city of Plano for 10 years and you, for whatever reason, you find yourself employed by the city of McKinney, for example, right down the street, so to speak. Okay, McKinney has 20-year retirement also. You don't have to start all over. You've already got 10 years in the plan. So you only have to work an additional 10 years with the city of McKinney. Combined, you have 20 years of service, and you're getting a retirement benefit that equates to 20 years of service because you've combined that time. So it's portable as long as you are working for a city that participates in TMRS. To add to that, we are a statewide pension plan. There are 3 other statewide pension plans: teachers' retirement for teachers, the employees' retirement for state employees, and Texas County and District retirement for county employees in the state. We recognize the service in each of our plans. Even in that regard, you could say maybe you found yourself working as a teacher for 15 years and you had an opportunity to leave and got tired of being a teacher and you went to start working for a city. Okay, you got 15 years recognized by TMRS in the state of Texas under your belt already. You literally only have to work 5 more years if you find yourself working for a 20-year city to be eligible for retirement. Now, your retirement's not going to be combined. You'll get your benefit from TRS separately from TMRS, but the fact that we recognize the time statewide in those different pension plans is a game changer. A lot of people don't stay around for more than 5 years, 10 years. And so the ability to have that time recognized so that you can have a secure pension is important. It's what it's all about.
One of the things, if somebody's not very familiar with TMRS, or maybe they're out of state or they look at out of state headlines, one of the things about TMRS that makes it amazing is when you see a headline about a statewide pension system having problems, it's never TMRS. You guys are very solvent and doing great, unlike some of those things that hit the news occasionally.
That's correct. We have a very sound funding policy. We have actuaries that look at our pension plan. We have controls in place to make sure that the funds that are coming into TMRS from the cities, those funds by law cannot be used by the city for anything. In other words, once the city funnels that money to TMRS, it can only be used by TMRS for the benefit of the member. So those funds are used 100% to pay pension payments. So a city's not going to put money in and decide that we've got a bridge problem, we've got to build a bridge, so we're going to stop contributing. That's illegal for TMRS. Cities can't do that. They certainly can't borrow and take money that they've already contributed to TMRS. Those funds are locked and secured for our members and for the benefit of our members' retirement. Our sound funding policy is looked at every year. We have a team of experts that look at things like our funding policy. We have our trustees that are fiduciaries that oversee the entire plan. They're making sure that we're receiving that expert advice to make sure that we are staying on top of it. So yes, we are very secure. I'm proud of that. And I certainly hope that one day I want to retire and be able to say the same thing.
You already mentioned it's unique, and you mentioned having actuaries and things like that. For an HR director, they know they're going to come in. They have to hire a public works director or public works staff and police and fire and all these things. Coming to TMRS, it's going to be a little bit different. It's still people. You guys have, I know, a wonderful customer service team. Shout out to those guys. They're the nicest, most responsive customer service that I get to deal with. Every now and then, I've never had a major problem, but anytime I've called, they've been amazing. Coming in as an HR director, if they came from a city, what roles do you guys have that they would be, maybe needing to figure out, like, where do I find people like that? How do I help recruit for some of these more unique positions that cities don't have?
We utilize recruiting firms if we need to. We have great resources like the Texas Municipal League, TMHRA. We have resources at their fingertips. These folks that work for cities, they're familiar with those tools. Those tools are the same. The positions might be different. We're not hiring for a director of public works, but we are hiring for a director of real estate. We're recruiting talent. We're looking at skills. We're looking at team dynamic. Do they fit the mold? And those things aren't different at all. They're the same. And so I don't see a lot of difference there, to be quite honest.
Different roles for sure, and I'm sure they can pick that up and run with it when they get there. You've mentioned the culture there at TMRS. I know that's very important to you, and of course, that's important for any employee looking to make a move. And that's why we do these position casts, is kind of talk about that culture. How would you describe the culture? What do you guys try to do? What makes TMRS unique to work for?
I believe our culture is fabulous, but I got to put my money where my mouth is, right? What do I mean by that? We really pride ourselves on being member centric, and we know our why is for our members. Our why is to provide a benefit for our members, to secure that lifetime income for our members. Everything we do has to drive to that goal. What I pride ourselves on is that we really collaborate and talk to one another. The key word or phrase that I hear time and time again, and it may be cliche, but I don't believe it is. For TMRS, we're family here. We spend most of our waking hours with our coworkers more so than our own family members. We work very hard. We respect one another. We listen to one another. Can we be better? Always. Just like family members, you have disagreements sometimes, but I think because we always understand our why, we know what the outcome has to be, and we appreciate the differences, respect the differences that we each bring to the table. We're a dynamic workforce, and we just work in sync with one another. I still think we're a TMRS family. We operate with respect. We honor the differences. We recognize those differences. We recognize the strengths, and then we build each other up. We do have weaknesses or opportunities for improvement, but we speak to them. We don't just hide them in a corner or sweep them under the rug. We're certainly not perfect, but I think this is an organization where people feel comfortable coming to work. I don't know if you're going to ask me about remote work. We have remote work opportunity, but we've created a culture where people want to come to the office. They want to be here. They want to see their coworkers. And that's what it's all about. That's the culture that we have at TMRS. And I think it just comes out when you speak about, and thank you for the shout out for our customer service representatives. They are amazing. I know, and I speak to that every day. It's very important that we have a live person responding to our members at all times, if possible. We have to have good people taking care of good people. And so you only have that when you have a good culture in a place. And I think we have a great culture here. It is family dynamic. We just respect and honor the differences, and we know what we have to do, and we get it done. We work very hard, but we also work in unison. And so it's a great culture.
I think that's a great way to test the culture. If you ever want to know what a company's like, is getting in touch with the customer service agent. And when they're friendly and upbeat and they're super responsive and helpful, that means something's going right at that place. Because that's not the norm in a lot of companies, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then I will put a plug in there. And earlier this year, we were recognized as top employer of choice by the Austin American Statesman, which is phenomenal. And that had never happened here at TMRS. So I'm very excited about that. And then also on our Pension and Investments magazine, we were recognized as a top employer for managing public pension. That's where the proof is. We've tested it. Now, of course, you don't just get to keep those things. You have to keep improving it and making sure we stay engaged. And again, that is why the recruiting of this particular position is so important. The director of HR really drives some of these soft skill sets within the organization, making sure that our employees feel valued, making sure that they are heard, making them feel like we're partners. And, HR isn't here to fire people and hire people. They're here as a partner for the entire organization. And yes, they are here to hire and fire people as well. But that second to the more important thing is we're here to build a culture. And you've got to have a solid culture in order to accomplish our mission and do it well. And so I think we have that here.
Speaking of the role, what does that look like? What's the day-to-day? How many employees is the HR director going to supervise? Who do they report to? All those basic kind of things that you'd want to know.
We have 126 full-time positions on the books. Some of those are vacant right now. The HR director reports to our chief operating officer, and when we're fully staffed, the HR director will have 2 direct reports. We have an HR team of 3, but I like to say that our HR director is really in charge of the entire workforce. They've got everybody reporting to them for all things HR. If they've got a problem, HR, I'm a big believer in open door, and I want our employees to feel comfortable going to our HR director for everything. If they've got issues, they should be comfortable. If they want to visit about improvements to our benefit structure, the director of HR, again, that's such an important role here at TMRS, especially given the culture and where I want us to be. And again, we're not perfect. We are striving to perfection every day, but the HR director is a key role. They've got to be people centered. They've got to be business centered. And I'm looking for that dynamic personality that's going to give us the best of both worlds. Looking for that unicorn, if you will.
Well, Debbie, it's great that you mentioned the open door policy there, and I love that you have a culture that a lot of folks that we deal with will say they have an open door, but oftentimes it's what you do after somebody walks through the door that really matters in your organization, and the fact that you recognize that and will empower the HR director to resolve some of those issues, be innovative, and really work as a partner throughout the organization really sets you guys apart because it's not just the open door; it's our actions that we can really show and demonstrate that we value our employees that matter.
Yes, and I don't want an HR director that's going to lock themselves in their office with the closed door working on policies and working on procedures and all things HR. All those things are very important. I want an HR director that's going to be walking the floor. I want them to be very visible with our employees. So that's how you develop those relationships. For somebody who's new to TMRS, it's even more so important that they get out of their desk, that they're walking, talking to people right where they're at. That's the person I'm looking for. I need a very strong people person. Having an authentic person, it comes out just in their body language, how they carry themselves, and that's who we're looking for. They've got to be the right fit for this organization. I don't want a bureaucrat. I want somebody who's going to be alive, well, authentic, and working with people. That's what we want here.
Out of all the things that a HR director has to do, where do you think your HR director, your new hire, will be able to make the biggest positive impact?
I was talking to our COO the other day, and what we really are aiming for today with our HR department is we want to rebrand our HR department. We really want our employees to know that they can go to HR. It's more than just hiring and firing. It's more than disciplinary action. Sometimes you have this stigma of, oh my God, I got to go talk to HR. Something's wrong. Or we've been invited to a conference room. Oh, that conference room has been used only to fire people. That's got to go away. And we have some of that here. The biggest impact this HR director is going to make is coming in and really driving that home. I want to rebrand our HR department. It is about our people and how can we get our people more communicative where they're really feeling as they're part of this team and part of a family. That exists today, but I want it to be more so. I want to multiply the effect that we're having within our walls here at TMRS. You have silos sometimes. You have our investment department, you have our HR department, you have our call center. Our call center is not here, but every other 8 weeks, they have a rotating schedule. So you might see 1 or 2 employees on a regular basis. And so it can be challenging to have those relationships within the organization when you have remote schedules. Rebranding the HR department so that you want people to be here, but you don't want to force them to be here. You're going to create this culture where people really want to be here. And that's a challenge. So I think the biggest goal is rebranding HR, thinking about our people, putting the people first, but still also being attuned to all the legal parts of what HR does. Like obviously they've got to protect the organization. All those things are just regular HR tasks, but rebranding our HR department so that people feel truly heard and valued is very important to me. And that's what I'm going to want from this person.
And I think the brochure mentions building and modernizing HR systems. Is that also a challenge?
Yes, we have, as probably is true with many other organizations or cities, We have people that are retiring, and a lot of the knowledge walks out the door when people retire. Capturing that knowledge base in a way that can be transferred from generation to generation, that's kept here regardless of who's actually here, is going to be, it's important, and it's going to be a challenge. We have AI. I don't know how we have any conversations these days without using the word AI, but really AI is just modern technology, right? How do we maximize technology so that we can make sure that we capture that knowledge base so we don't have talent walking out the door? When talent walks out the door, we have a succession plan in place. We have training in place so you don't miss a beat. And so the challenge today is transferring that knowledge into a system, whether it be an LLM with AI or some kind of learning tool. We don't have that today. And that's definitely going to be one of the goals for this HR director. It's where we need to be. And we just barely started scratching the surface there. And I think if we can attract someone that brings some of that technological expertise to the table, I think that would be beneficial for this organization.
What is HR's role in continuing education for employees at TMRS?
I want them to drive it. Right now, the continuous education is siloed by department. Each department's responsible for educating and training their own groups. That's part of the rebranding. I think HR should own that, and it should be done organization wide. That's something that can definitely be done better here.
For the person that you're looking for, I know you talked a little bit about what kind of person, what skills do you think that they would need to have to come in and be successful?
They need to be authentic. They need to communicate up and down the organization, up and down ranks and levels. We have a 6-member board of trustees, and they are very engaged in TMRS. They want to know that our leaders are top-tiered leaders. And so my HR director may be asked to speak to our board. I need somebody that can communicate at the trustee level, but they can also communicate to the 20-year employee we just hired that just graduated maybe college that's working in our benefits team. They need to be able to speak at all levels. And then, of course, that people, I've got to have people talent. They've got to be relatable. I need our employees to feel comfortable talking to this individual. Again, not looking for a bureaucrat, the exact opposite.
If we're talking about a municipal HR director right now, what do you think would attract them to leave a city and come to TMRS to work for TMRS? What do you think would be the driving force?
Oh my goodness. I think the driving force is specifically for city HR directors. They know who we are. They know TMRS. They know our culture. They talk to our people, if not daily, at least weekly. And I think that's attractive. I think human resource professionals at our cities will want to come here because they know the culture. They know what we stand for. Probably the most important thing, you probably could test every employee here. I would say every employee finds value in the job they do. Everybody knows that what we do matters. We touch lives every day, and educating our members about the decisions they need to make for their future is very important to us. It's important that they understand what their choices are. Whether we have our records analyst who's scanning mail in so that our benefits department can work electronically from home in the event of an ice storm so that doesn't stop the production line from moving forward. So there's no delays in getting those checks out the door at the end of the month, every month like clockwork. That's what matters. That's what's important. So I would say feeling valued, feeling that what you do matters, and knowing that you're coming into the TMRS family, those are the main drivers right there.
And once you hire this person and you fast forward about a year down the road, what would make you look back and go, we picked the right person?
I want to add one more thing before I go there. It's also, you just don't have an impact at your city. The impact here at TMRS is statewide, and it really is. It's 946 cities, and it's 245,000 members from all walks of life, blue collar, white collar, educated, non-educated. The spectrum is long, and we really are impactful. And so I just wanted to throw that in there as one more thing to say for an attraction point. Ask me your question again.
Yeah, if we fast forward a year down the road after you've made this decision and hired the new HR director, what would you look at and go, yeah, we picked the right person? What would make you think that?
When I have 100% of my staff attending a voluntary luncheon, voluntary celebration, I could go, yep, we hired the HR director because people want to be here for a reason bigger than what the things I just said. When I can say, yep, we've implemented a learning management system, we've got knowledge base securely in place. Debbie can retire and her successor can do that job. More importantly, forget me. What about the call center? Our call center, they've got to have those answers at their fingertips. If you've got 50% of our call center retiring tomorrow, can I hire half of that group, half of that team, and walk them through a learning management system that is 100% accurate so that you walk them through training and they can answer the phones after, I don't know, 30 days or 60 days of training. Right now, we've got yellow stickies and we've got notes and we've got files and we talk to members and the training is good, but it's not as good as it should be. I think if we hire the right person, they're going to be on top of those kind of things. They're going to go, yep, we've got a learning management system. Yes, we have. We've been talking about succession plan for years. We've never really formally done that. We've got a good succession plan in place. Yes, we now can look at growth patterns for every single employee. Where does this employee want to be? When I hire my next COO, I should be able to hire from within our talent pool. Yes, we want to go to the outside. We always want to secure the best talent, but it is a failure, in my opinion, if I haven't set up a system internally where we're growing our employees here. And I think our HR director is an important key to getting that done. And so I think if I look back after a few years, I can go, yep, we hired the right person. All these things are in place. They're solid. We're moving along. It matters who our people are, but it matters more that TMRS is successful for generations to come. And that's only going to happen if you have those key things locked down. And right now, it can be better.
I would agree with all that, although I would say I don't know about 100% participation in voluntary things, maybe like 95%.
I'm an optimist at heart, and I always like to, think in 100% terms, but we can shoot for 100%.
We'll shoot for 100%. If we get to 95, I think you'll be happy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go 97.
Okay. Michael, being the recruiter on this job, what makes you most excited for the person that will be taking on this role?
I think the stability of the organization, having the leadership that's been in place and Debbie being the leader that is going to let the innovation really happen and kind of take the organization forward. I'm really excited about that. The other thing is, Austin's such a great place to be. I retired from the city of Wimberley, which isn't too far away from Austin, but as far as cities go, there's so much going on there, particularly if you're into arts or music or hiking or kayaking. There's so much to keep a family occupied, great communities all around Austin. And I think TMRS also has a great office location. It's a nice environment to work in. So when you're looking at the recruiting sector and you want to say, hey, what reasons would a candidate want to work here? We have a dozen different things that we can talk about. And so that makes recruitment a lot more fun for us and be able to go, hey, you're not only going to be working in a great place, but you're going to be working with great people.
I agree with that. And we do have a fabulous building. For anybody that's familiar with the Austin area, we are located just off of 45th and Mopac. And so it's very accessible from the north and the south and the east. Well, the east and the west is always kind of a struggle in Austin. But we have a modern building where we've got smart conference rooms that are Teams ready. It's just a great place to work. It's a great building. We've had lots of compliments from external money managers who have traveled from New York and England and they come here and they think, wow, this is, just worldwide. They think, wow, this is a place I would see in New York. And so we receive compliments from lots of different people from all walks of life. And I would say, this is a great building to come to. And Austin is great. I've been in Austin since 1983. I'm not as young as I used to be, but it does have that youth vibe still. very modern, very young, very active, but still, Austin's still clinging on for dear life to that small town feel. I don't know that we can still say that, but I know we still try to get there, that small town feel.
I'd almost forgotten to mention that. I'm glad Michael brought it up because everybody knows Austin, but not everybody knows enough about Austin. So I'm glad he brought that up. And what's your favorite thing about living in Austin?
Oh my goodness. I would almost say, and again, I'm not as young as I used to be because there's so many activities to do. My younger self would have said going and enjoying Barton Springs. Beautiful, great place to be. ACL, the live music capital of the world. Those are things that are beyond my time now. I always want to leave town as quickly as possible when the masses come to Austin, but it's an attractive point for some people. To your question, I think the best thing I like about Austin is the food and the overall vibrant feel. I like the people in Austin. I like that it's diverse. We have so many different people. I could sit in a restaurant and just see so many different people from all walks of life walking in the door. And I like that about Austin. I feel comfortable in Austin. And yeah, we've grown up and we've got some big city crime, but it still feels very safe here. And so I like the safety. I like the people. I like the diversity and I like the vibe. Austin has a great vibe.
Well, and without one of your newer residents, we might not be having this conversation because Joe Rogan moved to Austin not too long ago, and that's where he's based at now. And of course, he helped bring this podcast format into mainstream. That was why Michael wanted to do this. He's really just a Joe Rogan fan.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. So many wonderful things about Austin, but I would say TMRS is right on up there. I always like to say TMRS is like a little treasure island. Like I didn't, when I first started here many years ago, I didn't even know what a pension plan was. And I kind of got lucky because I worked for somebody that started working here and kind of got lucky with my employment here. And what I hear time and time again from TMRS employees is, oh my God, I'm so glad I found a job here. And they mean that. I'm not just saying that. They usually come here and they stay. They don't leave. And I think that speaks volumes about who we are. So yeah, it's a good place to come. I think we have a lot to offer. And again, we take pride in the work that we do and we find value in what we do. And we really, at the end of the day, impact the livelihood, 260,000 plus people in this state of Texas. It's a great place to work. And I would love to have the absolute best person coming to work and join our team.
And Michael, can you tell us a little bit about what the benefits, the salary, and those kind of things, and more important for somebody who may be already in a Texas statewide pension fund, what is the retirement system at TMRS?
When you enter TMRS, you're able to be a part of TMRS and build your retirement there. The salary is extremely competitive at 150,000 plus, which will attract a great professional to work within the organization. The compensation and benefits are excellent as well. And I know that you can find all those things on our brochure and our position announcement there. We would love to encourage people to apply. You can apply through our website or just by sending your resume and cover letter to apply TMRS at clearcareerpro.com. As always, James, I'm available for phone calls for people to reach out and ask questions and make sure that we can provide whatever advice that we can to get really good candidates to participate in this selection process. It's about getting the candidates that have the skill sets and experience, but also as they move through the selection process, making sure they're the right fit for the organization so that both the organization accelerates and grows, but also the individual has the opportunity to continue to grow themselves and become a more competent leader and exceptionally make an impact on the service sector.
Debbie, I just want to make sure. So if somebody's leaving a TMRS city and coming to TMRS to work, it's no different if they were going from one TMRS city to another one.
That's correct. TMRS employees participate in TMRS, kind of like a city. We contribute at 7%. So 7% of our gross salary gets deducted from our pay and goes into a TMRS account. TMRS matches contributions 200% or $2 for every dollar once they retire. and you have to have 20 years of service, or you have to have 5 years of service at age 60. Those are the markers. We do recognize, as I mentioned earlier, we recognize time with the other statewide system. So for any teachers or state employees or county employees that might be out there, we would recognize that time towards qualifying you for retirement. And then, yes, if you currently work for a city, any time that you have would just be added to the time you put in for TMRS, and it would get counted towards meeting your retirement requirements to start drawing a pension benefit.
Awesome. Michael, for the HR directors that may not be familiar with Clear, but may have worked with some other recruiter, what differentiates Clear than maybe some of the other companies?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that we really try to do a little bit different than some of the other folks out there who are recruiters, which is we have constant contact with our candidates. We reach out every week to make sure that they're looped into the process. When there's an update or a change in the schedule or a schedule set for interviews, we make sure and communicate that directly. And then, James, if the city, decides not to move forward with the candidate, we let them know right away and make sure that they're not using that mental energy kind of wondering what their status is. Other than that, I think we keep the process concise from our semifinalist interviews, which are participative, and, try to gain as much information from the candidate in a very real and authentic way is something we really treasure. And you can see even from this PositionCast, we really want the candidate to look at fit for the organization, not just drive a number of candidates, but those ones who are most likely to be successful in this role. And so those are some of the things that set us apart. Really want to be collaborative partners. As you mentioned, many of us involved with Clear are retirees ourselves. And so we understand what it's like to, have served for a long time and really want to set this organization and whatever organization we're working for up for success. And so that's, some of the things that set us apart. And we're so happy that TMRS trusted us to be their partner in this particular recruitment. It's something that's really important to us and just an honor to be a part of the team.
And Michael, any final words or anything that we missed?
There is another recruitment that we're going to be kicking off here soon. I just want to throw this in. It's our Governmental Relations Director with TMRS. We will be, launching that recruitment here shortly. And that's also another position that's going to be instrumental in setting TMRS up for success as that individual works with legislators and decision makers throughout the state to really position TMRS and its retirees in the best position possible for the future. And so, we're excited to get that recruitment going off here in the next couple of weeks as well. And so, Debbie, I know we'll be talking more on that one, but this is such a great opportunity for a couple of different roles with TMRS to really have an impact throughout the state of Texas.
And Debbie, can you tell us a little sneak peek of the Governmental Relations Director? What do they do and what kind of person are you looking for?
No shock. Obviously, I don't want a bureaucrat. I don't want somebody who's going to come in here and sit at their desk during the interim session, particularly because you may not have legislators at the Capitol. As I mentioned earlier, everything we do is governed by state law. And so every 2 years, we're over at the Capitol, pretty much just in defense mode. Making sure that we have relationships with our legislators is key. And the person we're going to be looking for is someone that's very familiar with the inner workings of the Capitol, what's going on over there at the legislature, both in session and out of session. A person that has those relationships is going to be a preference for me because you can't necessarily start from ground zero there. But again, I want this person out and about. I want them shaking hands with our legislators. I want them at the Capitol during session. When we're not in session, I want them traveling to the different representative. I want them traveling to their offices saying, hey, here's who we are. Here's TMRS. We're doing a great job. By the way, here's your constituency. Here's what we provide every month by way of money. Here are the number of members in your electoral district that are in TMRS. What we do matters, so that when things come up at the legislature that may potentially hurt TMRS, the legislators already know who we are. That's the goal. So I'm going to want somebody who's obviously authentic, somebody who's knowledgeable, all things Capitol, all things Texas legislature wise, and then somebody who's going to be actively engaged in strengthening those relationships and building new relationships, because as y'all know, every couple of years we have a new set of legislators. And so that is an ongoing challenge. And I'm looking for, again, somebody who's dynamic, somebody who's people-centered, And yep, that person will be spending a lot of time out of the office. But again, they're part of the TMRS family. So they've got to have those same relationships here internally with our own TMRS employees. We want our employees to feel comfortable speaking to our Governmental Relations Director about the jobs we do here, or if we have a potential change that's being contemplated at the legislature, how that would impact the rest of the organization. Many times what happens, at least in my experience in the past here at TMRS, is you may have some potential legislation and you may have the executive director and the governmental relations person and legal all talking in a bubble. The word never got down to, say, the person processing the retirement application, and the law passes and all of a sudden we're going, oh no, why did we do that? That does this, this, and this, and that now we're going to have to clean that up because we didn't have that discussion organization wide. So I'm going to want that director to be authentic and have those relationships internally as well as externally.
Yeah, such an important role. Debbie, before we leave, can you give candidates that might be considering this opportunity one more final word for why they should push the apply button?
Yes, I believe that TMRS touches the lives of over 260,000 people. If you are looking for a job that brings you satisfaction, if you're looking for a job that you find value in, you're making a difference not only in a person's life, but in the economy here at Texas, there's no other place for you to do that. That's going to be right here at TMRS. If you are looking for a place to work where you are valued as an individual, where you feel like you're part of a family with similar goals, that is TMRS. I would encourage you to hit that apply button if you want to be part of this team. We're dynamic. We strive to maximize technology. We want to let computers do what computers do best. I don't know that we will even have computers anymore, but down the road, we want technology to do what technology does best. And we want people to take care of people and let people do what people do best. That's never going to change, at least not while I'm here at TMRS. If you want an opportunity to serve with heart and passion and excellency, that is what we do. We're about serving with heart. We're about taking care of our members. And if you want that, that is us. That's TMRS. So hit that apply button. We're eager to hear from you and we're excited.
Well, I'm happy for the potential candidates and I'm happy for TMRS. Debbie, thank you for giving us this opportunity to help you guys find these important roles to fill. Michael, thank you for being on the podcast as always. If you're interested in this role or any of our other positions, check out our website, clearcareerpro.com, and also check out our LinkedIn page. Please like and follow the podcast, and we will catch you next time.